Hey, yo, what's poppin'? Sports fans, once again, Monday night. That means your boys Mac and Mac are back. Talk about the last week in sports. And we gonna cut right into it, man. UFC, the last two cards, bangers. This one
Bangers.
was no exception. UFC 281 in the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. Um, bro, this lineup, legit. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you. Of the fights that were listed, we're just going to talk main card. All right.
Yep.
Um, so we had Dan Hooker, Claudio Pulis, Frankie Edgar. Uh, it's been a while since I said that man's name. Chris Gutierrez, Poirier, and Chandler. Which low key, I was just that was if man, that was a good one. Then we had the co-main,
Fight of the night.
Carla, yeah, Esparza and Weili Zhang, which also was dope. And then, of course,
Yep.
we had Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. So, my man, give me your rundown, man. What did you like? What didn't you like about 281?
UFC 281, for all intents and purposes, probably is going to go down as one of the best cards in the history of the UFC when it's
Damn,
all said and done.
son,
Top to bottom. This
son.
was a great card.
You know what? That gives us a little bit of probably for a future episode, just as a side, a bonus. Probably ranking, giving the people our top five, maybe top 10 if we want to expand it out, because top five
Yep.
is you're gonna have to sit and think for a while. But top 10 UFC cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
All right.
down for that.
But
I'm
continue.
down for that.
Continue.
But yeah, top to bottom, this was an excellent card. Yeah, surprises in there. Some things I weren't so surprised about, but my biggest surprise of the night probably was Dan Hooker beating Puelis, because that he's a leg lock tactician, and you've seen it in the fight. I
Yeah.
didn't, and with Dan Hooker being on a losing streak, I actually felt really good for Dan Hooker getting that win and getting it the
Mhm.
way he got it. So that was probably my biggest surprise of the night. I thought Israel Adesanya was going to walk out of there champion until he didn't. And that speaks
If there
volumes
was
of
10,
Alex Pereira.
if there was 10 more seconds in round one, he would have had it.
He was out of there. But that speaks to
Get that man. Yeah.
yo, it speaks to his recovery, right? Because he was out of there. He was out and came back right back in round two. Even though he lost, I think you could give him rounds 1 and definitely 5 if they'd have went to the decision. You could have argued a case for 4-0 for Izzy, but the fact that Pereira stuck out and then ended up getting the KO out of it, and then that corner when they were in the corner for the 5th round, his corner told him exactly what he needed to hear to go back out there and knock him out. Because they're like, hey, you need the knockout. You know you got to go out there. Just let your hands go. And not too many fighters in that position, because he had been getting wrestled. We seen Izzy wrestling. That's another big surprise.
Yeah.
We seen Izzy wrestling, using a little bit of wrestling to get him tired. That wore him down. He wasn't as effective, and until he heard those words from his coach, and he went out there and pulled out the fight. Very good fight. Fight of the night for me was, of course, Chandler and Dustin Poirier. Chandler needs to go back to the drawing board, I think, because he has this style, which it makes for a good fight, but it doesn't always get you a win, especially with these elite guys. So he comes out there, he's very power heavy. And you've seen it in the first round. He put it on Dustin, but Dustin caught him and damn near had him out of there in the first round. And he ended up gassing himself out. And with these elite fighters, if they can stick around like that, that's what you're going to see out of a Michael Chandler fight. Very effective early, not so effective late. And all you have to do is last. Not too many people can, but the people who can are usually in that championship contender discussion, you know? So I think he
Yep.
needs to go back down there. We've seen the same thing out of Justin Gaethje. Gaethje was one of those fan favorite heavy power shots. I'm going out on my shield type of guys. When he slowed his game down and, you know, paced himself throughout his fights, then you start seeing the contender that he is. So I think if he goes back and works on those things, he'll be fine. Weili Zhang versus Carla Esparza. I felt so sorry for Carla Esparza. Me and Wiz were talking during this during this pay-per-view. I was like, dude, she looks like a lamb to the slaughter, bro. Like,
bro.
But it ended up being a good fight. Like when she came out, it was just like, I'm just here to be sacrificed. You know what I mean? Like, this is the altar. Abraham.
Why do you think that is, man? Like why do you think? I mean, the energy was just I don't know. Like it was off during the intros. You know, Jane came in, and I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. She just looks focused, you know. And normally that's how I would say most fights, when a challenger comes out, they know this is my shot. You know, I'm going all out. The champ, I don't want to say the champ is never as engaged or as fully motivated as the challenger, but I can see cases where a champ just may be like, sometimes I just got to do the bare minimum. Not saying they all do that.
Right.
Some are just like, bro, if we can take it to the cards, if I can make these things look close, odds are they're going to, you know, unanimous decision is going to come back to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. But Zhang went in there, and I was just like, Lord Jesus, like, it is
no respect for her power. It was all wrestling, and even on the ground, she was scrambling. So I was like, oh yeah, she came here like, fuck this chick. I'm about to get her out of here. Like that was the energy. That was the energy she came in on, bro. Like she was in there like,
on to the next.
Yeah, let me get this out the way quick, fast, so we can get this belt.
Oh, you gave us 5 rounds. I'm only gonna need 2.
We can do a 3-rounder, and I'm walking out of here early.
You could have put this on regular ESPN in between sports centers, because I'm coming out serious with this.
Yep.
But let me ask you this, man. Dustin Poirier.
Yep.
Has he done enough to put him in contention to now go for that lightweight belt, in your eyes?
In my eyes,
does he need a couple more fights under him?
I say at least one more, right? So,
because before the fight, UFC had him the number 2 contender behind
Charles Oliveira,
and then of course, So
then you got the champ.
Then you got the champ there, Islam. Do you think he's done enough to get that look to Islam, or does he need one more fight under him?
He needs one more fight. And the guy who he should fight, or probably will be fighting, he talked about it in the post fight press conference, that he thinks Beneil Dariush is a good fight. And Beneil Dariush deserves a championship fight, but he's not going to get it because of Alexander Volkanovski. I think that would be a good fight to make. If Beneil doesn't get that fight, I think Beneil versus Charles Oliveira is a good fight. Even though the outlier here is Charles Oliveira. He's a former champion, right? He just lost to Islam. He got worked. He got his ass whooped.
Yep.
But is a rematch really warranted here? No. Can he beat Dustin Poirier? He's already beat him. So I think the fight to make right now is probably Dariush versus Poirier. And you get that out of the way. And then whoever wins out of Volkanovski and Islam should fight Oliveira. So you have him sit for a while, let that picture become clear, and then you fight.
Okay. So you think Dustin's best case is just chill and let the top settle out, see what the fuck's going on?
I think he should fight
you say
Beneil Dariush.
Dariush.
Yeah.
Right. And is Islam and Alex, are they fighting for are they fighting for his belt?
Yeah. So during 281,
Because go ahead.
what they announced
Mhm.
during 281 is Volkanovski is going to fight Islam Makhachev for the 155-pound strap. And then there's going to be a 145-pound interim belt that's going to be on the line um,
Oh.
in the event that he wins. But there's already an interim fight scheduled. I think it's between Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett, I believe. They're going to be fighting for that belt. And I think the winner of them,
Mhm.
whatever happens between Islam and Volkanovski, I think Islam's going to fucking murder Volkanovski, but that's just me. Whatever happens in between that fight determines what's going to happen with the 145-pound belt. If he wins, I imagine he's going to move up and stay up at 55. If he loses, I guess
Mhm.
he's going to go back down, and then they'll have that interim fight.
Yeah. But let's talk the main card, man. What do you see in Adesanya's future, man? Obviously at that time before the fight, he was ranked number 2 pound for pound behind Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously he was the middleweight champion. Uh, got beat by the number 4 contender, Alex Pereira.
Yep.
Um, I I don't know. Like I admire how Israel is like, I'll fight whoever, wherever, right? Um, I like that attitude about him. He'll
Yeah.
go up and weight. He'll change weight classes. He'll fight whoever. You know what I'm saying? He just loves to fight. Um, Bad loss, I'll say. I think he was
Mm-hmm.
the heavy favorite to win. I know I had him as a heavy favorite to win.
No,
Um,
I had Pereira winning this fight.
oh,
I
you
had him
had
winning.
Pierre. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What made you lean that way prior to fight?
Prior to fight is the simple fact that he already had 2 wins over Izzy. Though they weren't MMA wins, he had
Mm-hmm.
2 wins over him. One was a decision, the second was a knockout. And the second knockout happened exactly how this fight happened.
Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna lie, man. When your boy Alex came out there, he looked huge. I was like,
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn, that is
Yeah.
a shit. Hopefully they don't wrestle. And you know, they were striking from the most part. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, bro, if you strike, Israel hands down has the advantage. To me, now granted, like you said, they did fight in the past. I'm looking at it as far as in the UFC, Israel seems to have found a formula that works for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, he he kind of brings. I think he, again, like I was saying, the champion. He knows he has to get in here. Kind of Floyd Mayweather mindset. I'm gonna hit him more than he hits me. Do a couple. I just got to do enough to get this here. Um, in round one, I was like, this man is probably not looking for the card. It looks like he is going for the knockout here.
Oh
Which,
yeah.
like I said, 10 more, probably 5 more seconds in round one. Uh,
5.
yeah, it was gonna be a wrap. Uh,
Oh yeah.
that
5 seconds
that is a save
more
by the
and
bell.
that fight's over.
That is a save by the bell if I ever saw one. But like you said,
Man, they
in
had
order to
that boy
take
looking for no more
a
in that
beating
motherfucker.
like that, to sit down for, what do they give you, like a minute in between rounds to get
Yeah.
your shit together
Yeah.
and get up and then get back out there? Because Izzy's corner is just like, bro, ain't no way this motherfucker, his head is right. You saw what you did to him, go back
Right.
out there and get him. And for Alice to get back out there and do what he did to change up the dynamics of that fight, 100% props to him. I was not upset with the outcome. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't upset. Um, Man put his heart out there, gutted it out, got the win. It is what it is,
Yep.
but that's going to shift some stuff up. What do you see moving forward for Israel?
Immediate rematch, because there is a little bit of a little bit of what if he was actually okay. I wasn't too much of a fan of the stoppage. I agree with it. I wasn't too much of a fan, simply because if he was okay, in which he immediately protested, that's why I was like, oh, this might have been a bad stoppage. He immediately protested it. So there's a little bit there to say, okay, that's enough for an immediate rematch. Plus, he was winning the fight. You go back there. Now, keep in mind, what these two are fighting for is high level shit. This is like two of the best strikers in the history of the UFC fighting each other.
Yes.
So whoever comes out on top in the rematch is probably going to do some record breaking shit afterwards. But I see them possibly rematching. If Pereira gets the better of that one, it's kind of hard to say Izzy sticks around 185 because he's cleaned the division out. I kind of want him to lose this fight, but I don't like going against Izzy. But I think if he does lose this fight, if he does lose this fight, possibly go up to 205 and see what you could do there. That division's right for the taking. And with Pereira, it just opens up the division for bigger fights because he hasn't fought any of these elite guys. Now, that being said, he beat Israel Adesanya, who cleaned out the division. But he hasn't faced any high-level wrestlers in that division, which Robert Whittaker is a high-level wrestler.
Bro, Whittaker, Cannonier, they probably just like, my turn.
Licking chops,
now that
bro.
Izzy
like,
with the belt, now that Izzy don't got the belt, let me at him.
Yeah, let me at him. Even as soon as he won, oh, what up? We got Brian Rex in here. What up?
B Rex in the building. What's good, man?
But as soon as that fight was over, you had what's his fuck? What is Khamzat Chimaev was calling for a fight with the champion. So, it opens up the door for a lot of possibilities if he wins this rematch. But I know there's going to be a rematch because that was a great fight, and you have enough there to go for a bigger bag.
Oh yeah. Especially with the bad blood between them. I think UFC should probably, on a promotion thing, start promoting that. I don't think enough of that, the past fights. And I don't know if it's because whatever contracts or some UFC can't use, other fighting entities or something like that. But I mean, obviously there's bad blood there, as brought up by you. 2 previous fights before this, Izzy 0-3, against my man Alex here. Don't think that Izzy doesn't know that. Izzy knows he needs to beat this dude. It's probably the one demon in his head that's living rent free is fuck. I can't get this dude. I could fuck everybody else up,
but
except this one.
Yeah.
And do you think that makes it well, hey, what's up, B-Rex? We'll get to that in a bit. Do you think that'll have Izzy, he gave himself the style bender. Do you think he'll switch up his style in the rematch? You think he'll still want to stand up and strike just to prove he's a better striker, or is he going to switch it up and probably do more of a ground game to take him off? Because he's a smart fighter. I would assume he would want to kind of switch it up, hopefully. But I get his pride and I want to beat this dude at his game type stuff. He's a showman at heart.
Right.
But he's cerebral too. So I'm just like, you think he'll switch it up?
I think what works for him is what he should go back to. And what worked for him is when he got into the wrestling, he was able to tire him out. If you go back to that sooner, and if you work wrestling into your camp and make that a focal point, because he did well there. Now, granted, this was some of the shittiest wrestling I've seen from a champion in a long time. But the fact that he was able to keep him down and, tire him out, do a little bit of ground and pound, like that worked for him. That got him points. It tired Pereira out, and by the time that fourth round came around, he was kind of gassed, and he needed that boost that he got from his corner at the end of that fourth round to go out there and say, I don't have to fight another round. I'm just gonna empty the tank, and that's exactly what he did, and it got him the victory. But if you do that earlier on Izzy's point, like you could tire him out to where he doesn't have that when it's time for you to just put him out of his misery. So I think if he works a little more wrestling into his game, switch the style up a little bit, I think he'll come out champion again. That and utilize a front kick, something he normally does that he didn't do a lot of this fight. He didn't utilize his front kick a lot, and he normally does it when a person's trying to advance. He didn't do that a lot in this fight. If he utilizes his front kick and catches him on the way in with his striking, because when Pereira advances forward, his hands are normally up and swinging.
Yeah.
And utilize that front kick, and he might come out of this champion. I'm sure if I'm speaking on some shit like this, I'm sure he's looking at it like I have a game plan already.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. B-Rex asked, do we think Chandler is a dirty fighter?
No. I don't think he's a dirty fighter. Now, what I do think is Poirier's not buying it. He's not buying the excuses.
Right.
But I saw it and I was like, he's fish hooking him. I saw it in the fight. I was like, he's fish hooking him. And he looked up at the referee, and the referee was saying something, and Chandler was like, dog, he's putting his fingers in his mouth. I know you see this. Like the whole conversation, I'm looking at it like, yeah, he fish hooked for real. So I don't think he's a dirty fighter. I do think he was trying to find an advantage, and that it was an accident. I do think it was a legitimate accident, because you didn't see him do this in any previous fights. There's not enough evidence there for me to say he's a dirty fighter.
I'm in your boat. I'm not going to come up here and classify him as a dirty fighter. If he pulls stunts like this in a future fight, then you start having a trend of this dude is but for this fight, it was, don't you find that suspicious, as Dr. Umar would say? Don't you find that suspicious? Like it was, look at his other fights. I have not seen this level of like you said, fish hooking, and B-Rex is in here saying, spitting blood in his face. Like Dustin was in the fight. Dustin was in there. Dustin came out, and Dustin said what he said. Now, will I lean towards Dustin and be like, you think everything what Dustin said was valid? Him being in the ring, getting them hands put on him and all that stuff, I would say, hey, he
absolutely has a right. Yeah.
He knows what happened in there. All I'm seeing is whatever camera angle is showing me what, and the camera isn't always in the right position to see the fucked up shit. I think Chandler kind of went balls to the wall the first couple rounds, getting in there, laying them hits. He was trying to go all out. I think he knew he didn't have the gas to go the distance. He was trying to do what he could do to get the shit over with quick. Dustin was like, I ain't here for that shit. Come over here and let me put your ass to sleep right quick.
I mean, but seriously,
it went to the ground.
Bro got punched in the nose.
Yeah.
And it was like Fruit Ninja. Like shit was just leaking everywhere, bro.
Oh man. It like the last few cards, man. I'm just, bro, I don't see how you get in the ring after that. I'd be like, bro, y'all ain't even going to like bleach up this blood. Retired. This man is, bro, look at this mat. I'll be telling this dude, hey, we can't fight in that spot over there, man. You see all that blood? Fuck all that. He's fighting
Shit
on
is
this
a
side of the
crime
octagon.
scene. Yeah. Tape that part of the octagon off, bro.
Oh man. But yeah, I kind of like the scrappy. I guess that's well I'll call this instance the scrappiness of Chandler. He probably needs to reel that shit in if he was doing all of the shit that Dustin was saying. Because nobody wants that type of shit. You know, when the rate of injury and the risk of injury is already high from legal moves, you don't need this illegal shit. He put his finger in the mouth of the wrong motherfucker that trained under Tyson from the 90s, and then he gonna pull out a nub. You know what I'm saying? Lucky I ain't in that bitch. I'm be like, hey man, you do that shit again, I'm biting your fucking
I'm
finger
biting
off.
your ass. Hell yeah.
Glove.
Hell yeah.
Do the fucking glove, my guy. Try that shit. Big Herb Deep will be like, hey, he told you not to put his finger in there, man.
Hey.
Now look at you. I heard him say stop it, and you ain't stop it. Hey.
Nah, you gotta surgery.
Yep. Better go talk to Jason Pierre-Paul, get one of them 4-finger gloves he be out there playing because that's what you're gonna be using. Shit. But all in all, on your assumption that this is one of the best cards ever, I would say yes. Top to bottom, I love the women's co-main there. Again,
loved it.
Jang is about to be a problem. But Dustin, I'm glad he's back on his shit. I noticed we didn't talk about Frankie and and Gutierrez, but you know, that was a nice appetizer fight.
It goes without saying. Goes
Frankie
without
was
saying.
like, I'm back. No, you're not.
No, you're not. No,
I think
you
I
are
got
not.
my swagger back. You don't. Oh shit. Cool. But as always, you know, biggest thing to talk about now. AP polls are out. Tomorrow, the college football playoff committee will meet up again to give us their top 4 teams, which I'm assuming will probably remain unchanged. All top 4 teams winning this weekend. But what are some of the biggest takeaways from this past weekend in college football that you're looking at? I know when it comes to losses, who do we have? UCLA lost to Arizona State. So that was an odd one. I think it was just Arizona. Might have been Arizona State, but they lost to somebody who was supposed to lose to. And Oregon lost to Washington, which was a big kick in the nuts of Pac-12 chances to get in this thing. So now you got Oregon up there with 2 losses overall. One of them to, I believe they played Georgia week 1, got ran over. Then they lost to Washington. So I'm thinking, like, to me, bro, that's it. Like, ain't no way you can get back in there. USC still has the 1 loss, I believe, to Utah, and Utah is playing well. So, you know,
strength of schedule.
They probably have the highest chance if some tomfoolery was to happen in the upcoming weeks, because we already got 2 conference championships set. In the ACC, it'll be Clemson against North Carolina. I don't see the winner of that getting into the college football playoffs unless catastrophe fucking happens. And then we have LSU and Georgia already set for the SEC. I think we're still waiting to hear about the Big 10, Big 12, and Pac-12. So what are your thoughts on what's going on, man, this past weekend?
Well, you're gonna have some pretty pissed off outliers, bro. Because Tennessee won, even though they lost to Georgia. They won handedly, beating Missouri. LSU stuck out a win with Arkansas. Yeah, they gonna be pissed off because I pretty much don't see them getting into the 4. Maybe Tennessee sneaks in there. Maybe
if TCU loses 1 game, they're out.
Oh yeah, they're
Like
out.
they're falling.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
falling far.
But
Like
for now, they have a case
Tennessee.
to be in there. So
Go ahead. Yeah, they
for
do.
now, yeah, for now they
So
have
hold up.
that. They have that
Hold on. Hold on.
that
Hold on.
case.
Hold on.
Yep.
TCU wins the Big 12 championship where the two best records play, right? LSU beats Georgia in the
I don't see
SEC
that happening.
championship.
I don't see it happening.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me. I'm just throwing shit out there to make motherfuckers think. Like, because I mean, I don't think nobody saw them beating Alabama either. Like
This is
Alabama
true.
took their 1L against Tennessee. So any given Saturday where they play, uh, the South's favorite coach, Brian Kelly, can pull something out his ass and shock the world, right?
This is true.
Shock the world. Do you see an instance where LSU leapfrogs both Tennessee and TCU and gets into the fucking college football playoffs based on beating Alabama
They beat
and Georgia?
Alabama. If so LSU probably had the hardest strength of schedule. If they pulled that off, beating Georgia
Mm-hmm.
and beating Alabama and beating
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss,
Mm-hmm.
which Ole Miss at the time was like 7. So if they pulled that off, yes, they deserve to be number 4.
Okay. Leapfrog in Tennessee
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
TCU. Like,
Because
if TCU is undefeated, do you still think LSU leapfrogs them into 4th?
no.
I got to go back and see if TCU has been putting ass whoopings on people enough for them to be like, we up here. Because I don't see another
They
Big Ten
they
team.
they have been dog walking people, but I don't if they win out, I don't
Kansas,
see a scenario where LSU jumps in the 4th place.
Oklahoma State.
Even beating Georgia. Well, if they beat Georgia, if they beat Georgia, then Georgia falls, obviously, to probably 5.
Georgia still makes the playoffs regardless, though. If their only loss is in the SEC championship, they will go to 4.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that. So yeah,
either
I don't
3,
see them.
either 3, because Ohio State, Michigan, one of them's going to cancel each other out.
Yeah,
There's
because they have to play each other.
There's going to be 2 SEC teams, right?
Yeah,
there's going to be 2 SEC teams in this shit. And depending on how close, like if that game was like 41-42, the committee may have pity on either Ohio State or Michigan, knowing that they can't play in the championship because they're in the same division. Which Big Ten, you got to change that shit up. I don't know how the fuck y'all got to do that. Y'all just can't have y'all 2 best teams in the same goddamn division in you know what I'm saying? You might as well just make it like the Big Ten and the Pac-12 be like the 2 best teams play for the championship. But that's a rivalry game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're going to have a regular season rivalry game and then have them playing the championship. Like that kind of diminishes the rivalry game, if that makes sense.
Does. Yeah.
But that's the curse of the Big Ten. These 2 are always, as of lately, because John Harbaugh just got his shit together with Michigan. They're going to be like this for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, they will. And you don't have they're the 2 biggest schools in the division, in that conference too. So they're going to attract all of the big players. So until another program comes along, like you got to have somebody magnificent go to some shit like Illinois, and then you'll have that's like Saban leaving Alabama to go to Illinois. Then you'll get more recruits there. You know what I mean?
Right. So looking at it, AP top 25 right now, I think the top 6 teams are the only teams worth really. You could probably sneak in 7 with USC there. Maybe there's an outsider's chance they can creep their way in there with their 9-1 record. But we're looking at Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Tennessee, and LSU, top 6 teams. So your predictions, my guy. Here we go. We waited this long, 10 weeks in. What are your predictions? Well, let me go first. Are we
Go ahead.
ranking them too by seed, or are we just saying the 4 teams that are in there?
Just say who you got as your four, because that might change.
Georgia, Ohio State. Tennessee. And I mean, I don't know. TCU, you got to make a believer out of me, but I think because like realistically, I don't think LSU's beating Georgia. I would think they would have pity on the loser of Ohio State, Michigan, and there would probably be 2 SEC teams and 2 Big 10 teams in this college football playoff. So Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Tennessee. Those are my rankings too. So then you'd have Georgia playing Tennessee and Ohio State playing
Interesting.
Michigan in the semifinals.
Okay.
Then I would have Georgia Ohio State in the championship. That'd be me. Crazy talking, but I'm just looking at it like, bro, this might be this because they're going to they're going to expand it. I don't know if it's next year or whatnot, but I'm just saying you got to expand it to where all college are
the top
power
12
conference. I wouldn't even say that. I'd say if you want to put it out to 8, maybe, because you got the 5 power conferences, right?
Mm-hmm.
ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, SEC. Then you have your wild card, if you want to give bye weeks or something, you have 6.
Right.
The conference champions of the Power 5, and then your one, at-large bid, the one that's not from the Power 5, which would be right now, if I'm looking at this, who do we got in here? UCF, they would be the dude jumping in there. Kind of like how Cincinnati was last year. But But yeah, but I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the schedules. Georgia, Ohio State, Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, Tennessee 4.
All right. I'm going to give you a long shot prediction.
All right, give it to
me. This is a long shot at happening, but it's absolutely possible.
Okay.
Georgia. Georgia, TCU, USC, Michigan.
USC.
This is a long shot at happening, but it absolutely
is that based on them? That's based on them winning the Pac-12, right?
Yes.
They're winning the Pac-12. Tennessee cannot win the SEC. So USC is going to jump over Tennessee based on the conference championship.
Yes.
Okay.
Which also means I have Michigan beating Ohio State.
That's my only back and forth because I'm watching Michigan, and if Michigan there's one thing that travels, it's defense. It's defense in the run game. CJ Stroud is they do. Where is that game in Ohio State or Michigan this year?
Michigan.
Or was that Ohio State? No, it's at Ohio
State. Is that Ohio State? All right.
Yeah, it's at the Horseshoe. So the only game they have left, Ohio State is playing Maryland before Michigan. So they play that game that Saturday of the Thanksgiving weekend. Who does Michigan have in between? I know they have like a little warm-up game. Illinois. They have Illinois, which Illinois ain't a fucking slouch, man. I think they already.
They ain't.
I don't know if they the Big 10 West or whatever they call it, the Western whatever, but that might be tough. And I think they're playing in Illinois for that one. No, they're playing in Michigan. Never mind. Illinois getting drug. Um, yeah, man, it's a toss up on that one for me. I just give it to Ohio State because they're playing at home. Um, and I just for some reason I just think John Harbaugh be choking in these big games, bro. Like I think with all the shit on the line for
Mm,
this one, like I think he'll choke, man. I don't know. We'll see. Um,
we'll see.
but TCU, huh? TCU.
Yeah, those are my rankings too.
Okay. TCU number 2?
Yeah, TCU too.
All right. All right. I ain't mad at you. Um, let me just look at these conference Big 10 East, Big 10. Yeah. Illinois is at 7-3, Iowa's at 6-4. So is Purdue. Well, Minnesota's 7-3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be looking at the Big 10 West. I'm like, what the fuck is y'all doing out here? Then the big, I mean, but it's the competition is more even in the Big 10 West because you look at the Big 10 East, it's like Michigan 7-0, Ohio State 7-0, Penn State 5-2, then everybody else like 3-4, 1-6. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like y'all gotta rearrange this shit somehow, man. This is ridiculous. But yeah, man. Uh I'm just proud of my Tar Heels going to a conference championship. Boy, man, if they beat Clemson, you ain't gonna hear the end of it. I'm gonna find every brand new Clemson fan over the last 5 years. I'm gonna find every brand new one of them. Be like, what the fuck? All that shit y'all was talking, huh? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Mm-hmm.
we playing on New Year's. Y'all get ready for that Meineke Car Bowl, nigga. The San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. That's where y'all going.
Yep.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Yeah. So that's our rankings, man. No more changes. It's on tape. It's on the air. Everybody knows who we rolling with now.
Now I
So
gotta pray because that's a
may the
long
odds
shot ass. That's a long
may
shot
the
ass.
odds ever be in your. I mean, we ain't put no money on it. You know,
Yeah.
we'll gravitate it and as we go on, we'll start doing preseason picks. You know what I'm saying? Leading into
Yeah.
stuff and midway checking to see how we doing. But I mean, it's not that far out. I mean, anything can happen on a Saturday. I mean, this Saturday popping off right now. That whole thing can just come into play even more for you. So
Yep.
we'll see. I was hoping to see Oregon make some noise, but it is what it is. The underdogs, man. These kids, every time they're an underdog, they just play extra hard. They just want to
Yep.
spoil everybody else's fucking party. And
Yep.
congratulations to Washington. You did it. You fucking did it.
Couple hours down the road too. Sad.
Mhm. Mhm. They don't care.
They don't.
All right. All right. Now, some crazy games yesterday in the NFL.
Ooh.
The biggest one that I had no outside of fantasy because I had Justin Jefferson playing. Who, God, did you see his catch?
Oh
Jesus
my
Christ.
God. My
I was like,
God.
oh, Kirk threw that fucking interception. And then my boy Justin rolled over
No.
and had that ball in his hand. I was like, yes. Yes. Oh man, I needed Justin to go to fuck off. And boy, did he go to fuck off this week.
Yes, he did.
But then let's just start with that game. Buffalo and Minnesota. Now, Minnesota goes into that game at the time 6-1, and everybody is kind of sleeping on them when it comes to the NFC like nobody's talking about them in the NFC. When it comes to that conference, Eagles, watch out for the Niners, the Seahawks. Oh, they got Geno. They coming. I'm just like, bro, these cats over here with like a 4-game lead in their division,
Yep.
cruising since losing week 2. They ran into the Eagles. I get it. The Eagles are buzzsaws right now. Ran into the Eagles. Actually played them.
Played
Maybe
them
they played them
good.
right. They tried,
They
but
Yeah,
Primetime Cousins was just throwing the ball straight to Darius Slay. And that motherfucker,
this
like,
is
I ain't
true.
not taking up from Darius Slay. Big play Slay. But it is what it is at that point. So they come into that game. Everybody's expecting Buffalo to win. It's in Buffalo, cold, the perfect environment. Fans are crazy. They're turned up. They just lost last week to New York Jets. They ain't trying to lose no two in a row. They trying to keep it close to get that bye week for the AFC. Um, they had it.
Yeah,
Well, man, I could not
yeah.
believe that last play. So they stopped Minnesota at like the 2-inch line on a 4th and goal, which would have gave Minnesota the lead. The play prior to that, it was a 4th and goal. Cousins throws to Dalvin Cook out in the flats. Dalvin Cook drops the ball right wide open. Offsides on Buffalo. Do it again. I don't know why they just don't hand the ball off to a fullback, a running back, or if you're going to do that QB sneak, you got to do that.
Do it.
What's that? And in one, the one where you get the ball and you just jump and put it over the line. You know what I'm saying? Tried to muscle it in there. Kirk Cousins isn't the biggest, strongest. He ain't squatting 600 like Jalen Hurts, so he ain't really moving no piles. Comes up short. 40 seconds left, I believe it was. So obviously you can't take that knee because it'll be a safety. So you have to get the ball out the end zone. The Bills then go to their QB sneak, which probably has a higher percentage to working because Josh Allen ain't no bitch, right?
Right.
However, in order for the QB sneak to be executed, the snap needs to be executed. Ladies and gentlemen, the snap was not executed. When he hiked the ball, and I noticed that he did not move forward, and the way he was positioned, I was like, it looks like he's trying to pick the ball back up. This has to be a safety. And then I saw a couple of Minnesota Vikings jump up doing a touchdown signal. I was like, hell no. Hell no. They better be lying. They better be lying. Turns out they were not. So they get the touchdown because they were down 4. They get the touchdown, kick the extra point. They're up 3. Buffalo has no timeouts left. And I'm just like, y'all just have to keep them out of field goal. Obviously, they don't, right? Because it's fucking Buffalo. They just like, we can score whenever the fuck we want. We got Stephon Diggs out here. They tie the game, go to overtime. Justin Jefferson still cutting up, catching passes all over the place. Unable to get into the end zone, kick the field goal. Now here comes Buffalo marching down the field. Easily in field goal range. You can't turn the ball over at this point, right?
Right.
But you want to go win. You don't want the tie. You want the fucking win. And I get it, Josh Allen. Throws the ball straight to Patrick Peterson to end the game. Crazy ass game. Crazy ass game. Now we're looking at the AFC
of the year.
Yes. The Buffalo Bills currently sit 3rd in their division. 3rd. Behind the Jets in Miami. And Miami is no slouch, ladies and gentlemen. So now
Miami since trade deadline has been a different team. A scary ass team.
Healthy Tua. Jesus. And they got Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson was not doing none of this shit in San Francisco. He over here with that South Beach vibe. He getting them Cubanos down on South Beach. He's like, bro, this is a whole different vibe out here.
Hell yeah.
Raheem Mostert cutting the fuck up. Bro, they're ready. So looking at Buffalo, who was the preseason favorite for the AFC representation in the Super Bowl, now sitting 3rd in their division with legit competition there. Miami and the Jets, like, I know I was shitting on the Jets the first couple weeks, but my God. I don't know what Robert Saleh taught.
They were one of my teams on the rise.
They were, and they rising, my guy. But where are you at? Are you ready to cut off? Because I know there's 2 wild card teams now. Yeah.
Yes.
So looking at the AFC now, Miami would be in there by winning their division if it was to start now. Baltimore would be in there by winning their division. Tennessee would be in by winning their division, and Kansas City would be. So then you're looking at the next two best records, right?
Yep.
Those would be in the AFC East, and it would be the Jets and it would be Buffalo. So Buffalo would be the 6th seed
Yep.
going into the playoffs. Meaning that they would go against Miami would have the bye. So they would be going up against the 2 seed, which would probably be Baltimore.
Right.
Uh, what are your thoughts on the Buffalo, man? Are they a little bit of trouble there as far as road to the
No.
Super Bowl? Or? No, okay.
No. What they had yesterday is easily fixable.
Mm-hmm.
So they fine-tuned those things. I think yesterday might have been a wake-up call for Buffalo. It's like, hey, we're starting to get on Cruise Street. We need to turn this ship around. And I think you saw enough of that after the game to say it's fixable. They're not in any trouble yet. However, you have the Jets who are starting to really make noise, the Chiefs who are making noise, the Dolphins who are making noise, sneaky teams like the Patriots who
they
if
only
you let
have
them
a
hang
game lead
around,
over the Patriots.
yeah, if you let them hang around, that could be ugly for you. So that the AFC East in itself is it's
Let me
not a
just
pretty picture for them.
add to the fact they're currently in the last wild card spot in the conference.
Right.
Uh,
So, but
New England is only a game back.
Right.
Cincinnati is only a game back.
Right.
The Chargers are only a game back. So you have teams right there.
And these are all
heels.
capable teams. Yeah. These
Yes.
are all capable teams. So you can't afford to slide. And I think they know that. So with that being said, I think they do steer this ship the right way. They have every tool available to do it. And I think you may see a correcting of the path going forward. But that's up to them. It's their future now is totally up to them.
They got Cleveland this Sunday. I'm expecting them to handle
game.
Cleveland.
Yeah, that's a winnable game.
I don't know what's wrong with Cleveland. They're just trying to maybe
they have injuries
as an L, and they're just like, we just want Deshaun to come back, see what we got the last part of this season, and then work on that.
Work from there, yeah. But they do have injuries. That their offensive line is injured. Some of their deep Myles Garrett was hurt. So like you have key injuries on that team that stop them from being the team that they should be.
No, actually, yeah, because Kansas City's 7-2. Yep.
Kansas City is now my favorite. They're starting to click.
Bro, they are winning games. Un-Kansas City like, if that makes sense. I'm so used to how they were winning games. Mahomes throwing fucking 500, 400 yards a game. He's still throwing the ball a lot, but it's not like when Tyreek Hill left, I was like, the big plays aren't going to be there. But Andy Reid is a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
Knowing how to tweak the offense to still let Pat Mahomes still do Pat Mahomes things. And you still got Travis Kelce, who's like a hybrid receiver, tight end type shit, man. Like that man's hands are something else.
Yes.
Juju's out there. You got the dude they just traded from New York, who was cutting up yesterday. Tony, I think his last name is.
Yeah.
So it's I look at Tennessee, they're 6-3, but I mean they have no pass game. Like if teams figure out to stop the run, it's a wrap. They won against Denver, but I mean they had this two big splash plays. They had two big splash plays to get 2 touchdowns. and that was kind of like the difference in the game. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It wasn't like a constant, you know, pounding, so to speak, of Denver. But yeah, man, that's the American. That's the AFC. So now we're looking, like I said, the NFC. Obviously, Philadelphia is up there, 8-0. Minnesota's 8-1. So they're currently the 2 seed in that conference. Um,
Hmm.
you got Tampa Bay winning the South at 5-5, and Seattle at 6-4. So as of now, Seattle's the 3 seed, Tampa Bay is the 4th seed based off of winning their division. Then you're getting into records, and then you're looking at the Giants at 7-2 and Dallas at 6-3. Um, let me ask you this: did that win yesterday? Now you may have already been taking them seriously, but how much more serious are you taking Minnesota as a threat or as a viable threat for the NFC representation in the Super Bowl?
Is right now it's serious. They are a serious threat right now, based off what they did yesterday. They played a very capable Bills defense. Their offense stopped a very capable Bills offense.
Right.
I think they've proven themselves enough to be serious threats to see themselves in the Super Bowl. And let's face it, I give Kirk Cousins a lot of shit, but
Mhm.
for them to be 8-1 means he can manage a game, and if he can stay off his turnovers, they win. Which he's done a
Facts.
pretty decent job of that this year. He's limited his turnovers, and he's managed the game effectively. So with that being said, they are serious threats right now.
Now, with that being said, the compliments that you, I don't know, the compliments. It's more like, bro, just don't fucking turn the ball over, Kirk, and
Yeah,
throw it in the flat to Dalvin Cook if you don't got it, or if it's 1-on-1 with Jefferson, throw it up, let that man
throw
moss
it up,
somebody
let him
real
go.
quick, and you still got
Yep.
Thielen out there, and you got Hawkinson from Detroit
Mm-hmm.
at the trade deadline, a great tight end. So you have weapons now, Kirk. We're not asking you to do too much because you got the weapons now. With all that being said, I had a conversation with somebody at work. They were like, when Minnesota was 6-1, actually they're like 8-1 now. So when they were 6-1, they were like, man, Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback. I was like, you are out your goddamn mind. Like,
No,
the team is doing
fuck
great. The team is doing fantastic, but it's not because of Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm
no.
saying? When a game is on the line, you can't depend on Kirk Cousins. And this person was just like, you said when the game's on the line, you can't depend on Kirk. Look at that throw he made. I'm like, bro, get out of here. That was a horrible throw. That was
That was
a
Justin Jefferson being
yes,
Justin Jefferson.
yes. It wasn't a
More than a
God
great
throw. You
Kirk
know what
Cousins
I'm
throw.
saying? And that's what I be trying to tell people. Like, like the Super Bowl shit, like Eli Manning throwing to David Tyree. You talk about
Right.
that's not clutch. Look at that. Like, bro, that
Bro,
wasn't
he
a
threw
dime.
it
That
to
wasn't,
his
he
helmet.
didn't thread away. That was an act of God saying, Tom Brady, you can't know. That's not happening. But I'm glad you agree, because it's hard to explain that to some people when you're like, well, he's a quarterback of an 8-1 team. How is he not? How is he not a top 10 quarterback? That's the second best record in all of the NFL. How is he not top 10? Bro, because he's not. Like,
No,
I don't care. You look at stats and everything. Like, he's not that dude yet. Like, he is.
no.
If I was to rate him on tiers, he'd be A plus game manager.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
definitely.
he would be top tier 1 of game managers. Kirk Cousins would be it. Kirk
Yes.
Cousins would, because every now and then he'll cut up a little bit, and you'll be like, "Oh shit, he's that guy." But then you got to look at the total body of work and be like, "Nope, this is an outlier. This one performance is not the standard. This is the outlier." the standard is he's going to get maybe 300, probably 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Dalvin Cook's going to run a lot.
Right.
Most of his targets will be going to Justin Jefferson. In the red zone, Thielen will get a couple looks, and shout out to Adam Thielen, who's cool with going from the number 1 to being, hey, I'm cool with being number 2, man.
Hell yeah, I'm
If
still
Justin
getting the
Jefferson,
ball.
yes, he can get the double teams. Bro, I was tired of the double teams. I was tired of the double. Let's stay in the NFC North, right?
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay finally gets a win by knocking off the Dallas Cowboys in overtime. The Dallas Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you how they lost this game. It's in the overtime, right? First of all,
yeah.
Fantasy alert. If you don't have this man, Christian Watson, on your team,
put
you
in a
better go out there.
waiver.
Because apparently him and Aaron Rodgers are onto something.
Put in that waiver now.
3 touchdowns yesterday. Two of them nice routes. One, I think, was blown coverage and he was just down the field. But either after week 1, that drop he had, I didn't think Aaron Rodgers would ever throw to this man again. But I don't know what happened. They seem to be on it. But it's overtime. Dallas is in field goal range. It's 4th and 3, I think. Instead of kicking the field goal, Mark McCarthy's just like, hey, bro, we be crushing 4th down all year. Let's go for it. And then they don't get it. And then now they're like, well, fuck, now we got to stop Aaron Rodgers from getting in field goal range, which they can't do, obviously. They've never been able to stop Aaron Rodgers from getting in field goal range for a game-winning field goal. In the history of Green Bay and Dallas Cowboys, ever since Aaron Rodgers was a starting quarterback, they cannot stop Aaron Rodgers from getting in the – when the game is on the line, they can't stop Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what it is. They just can't do it. So, of course, Aaron Rodgers gets in field goal range, and they win the game, breaking their – I think they're on a 5-game losing streak.
Yep.
With that being said, let me look at this. They are, when it comes to – I don't even think they're getting close to winning their division. I think they're like 5 games out. 5 games behind. And it'll take a monumental collapse from Minnesota for them to do that. But you're looking at Dallas. They're 6-3. Green Bay is 4-6. You are 2.5 games back of Dallas at this moment. Do you think Green Bay can turn it on to pressure Dallas for that last wild card spot?
Yes.
Because as I say that, San Francisco is 5-4. So they're like 1 game back behind Dallas for that final wild card spot. So that is more competition for Green Bay. In my mind, I'm thinking San Francisco is going to end up winning the NFC West. I think Seattle, what they were doing was great. But I think with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, all those guys healthy, and Jimmy Garoppolo not throwing the ball away because he's also a game manager. No touchdowns yesterday, but they win the game. San Francisco is going to win the West. Now I'm looking at Seattle. Seattle would be just half a game back of Dallas because Dallas had his bye and Seattle haven't yet. So it's a lot of stuff there. My question is, can Green Bay figure out a way to turn it around to be in contention for a wild card spot?
They can, but their schedule is really hard. But what they got yesterday is what they needed. And that is a shot of cocaine to the fucking vein in their head. They beat the Cowboys. So that's what they needed. They
somebody with fucking cocaine in the vein in their forehead, like,
yeah. They needed that. They needed that because that gives them confidence, and the way they did it gave them a lot of confidence. Now you have a little bit of more confidence from your receiving core, right? Because now you have Watson. It has proven himself to be a legitimate threat back there now. You also have Lazard, who can take a little
Sammy
bit of that
Watkins made
pressure
some
off.
plays.
Yep,
Lazard.
Watkins
Yep.
made some plays. So they have what it takes right now to get it done. Now the rest of their schedule is as follows: they have the Titans, the Eagles, which are both hard games, right?
Yep.
Maybe they get the Titans. That's a winnable game for them. The Eagles, not so much. If they can pick off the Eagles, this proves to me that they are on their way. That would bring them to 6-6, right? And if they beat the
Yep.
Eagles, the rest of this is as follows: the Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings, Lions. So if they can beat the Eagles and do that
I think
very well,
they're undefeated in their division, right?
yeah,
I believe so. Yeah,
yeah,
they're undefeated because they already beat Minnesota week 2 or week 1. Or no, Minnesota beat them. That's right. Minnesota got the
yep,
best of them. So they have one
yep.
L. They beat Detroit. Did they beat Detroit? Fam, let me go back.
No, they lost to Detroit.
Oh, so they in the hole in their division.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
Mm.
these are all get
Okay.
backs, but they have the benefit of already
Yeah.
played them. So with that being said, if they
Yeah.
can gel up enough to pull these games out, they can write the course of getting into the playoffs. And it's November. We all know how it goes with the Cowboys. October, great. August, September, October, great. November, straight face. December, sad face.
Ass.
January, crying.
Cry face.
And they
Oh
are
man.
on trend right now. They are on trend. So it could be interesting. It could be interesting. Green Bay has they have some work to do, but I believe they can do it.
The 17-week season helps them out as well. Because having
Yes.
only played 10 games, they got 7 more to fucking do some shit with. And 7
Right.
more games for other teams to wild the fuck out. Before we move on, though, I just want to talk about Justin Fields cutting the fuck up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Chicago has unleashed its full offense just in time for them to trade away their whole defense that can't stop anybody. So now Justin Fields is just balling out. Empty calories for fantasy. I'm mad I did not jump on that Justin Fields train uh, before because he has been blowing the fuck up. Moving forward, though, uh, I think Chicago might be, and I'm not saying that Minnesota can't duplicate this. I think Green
Mm-hmm.
Bay's time is running this division is over, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the relationship between Aaron Rodgers and his front office or him and his coach don't get along anymore. Detroit obviously in a rebuild. I think Chicago's core to build around is ahead of where Detroit's is at this point.
Yep.
The core that's in Green Bay is probably on its last legs, probably in its swan song. Chicago is shaping up. This is my prediction. Within the next 2 seasons to be the king of the NFC North for probably the next 5, 6 seasons. If they
You may
draft
be right
right
about that.
around if they
You
draft
might be
right
right
around
about
Justin.
that. You might be right. The
This
only thing that
is all what I've
makes me say this isn't the case is if the Vikings get an upgrade at the quarterback position. If they get an upgrade at the quarterback position, Vikings might be there for a while.
But who would they get, like free agency or draft? Because their draft position, they wouldn't be in the running for any of these top quarterbacks unless they find a sleeper in a later round or something like that. But I think
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins being like I said, the top tier of game manager, so he's not going to be asking for stupid money, will
Right.
allow Minnesota to be able to pay and draft at other positions, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
without worrying
Right.
about paying Aaron Rodgers money at the QB spot.
This is true. But you could also do that, and in the later rounds draft a quarterback that can learn under him.
Here's what I'll say. I only say Detroit is behind Chicago when it comes to the core. They could easily, like, if they get rid of Jared Goff, because everything else outside of their, well, let me stop. Their defense is in the same position as Chicago. They can't stop nobody.
Right.
It's why they beat Chicago on Sunday. But compared to what we've been seeing from Justin Fields the first half of the season to now,
he's
Thursday night football
games,
bro, this boy is cutting the fuck up.
He figured it out.
And, yeah, they unlocked his moveset. You know what I'm saying? They got enough XP. They went to the skill tree. They unlocked all the skills. You know, so now they cutting up. But I think they're in a position to run that division that division for the next 5 to 6 years within 2 seasons. If they draft the defense correct and they keep that offense, maybe get if they get a top tier receiver for this man, like somebody who can win those 50-50 balls, like an AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, one of those dudes where you just DeAndre Hopkins, where you throw it up and you know, like, hey, my man gonna get that shit. They'll be trouble. They will be trouble.
Yeah, they will. They need a veteran receiver.
And it's gonna be like trying to figure out Lamar Jackson all over again for the NFL. It's like, fuck, another one? Yeah. By another one, I mean a dynamic quarterback, not a black running quarterback. So God damn it, another one of those.
God damn.
Take it over the goddamn league. I blame you, Michael Vick.
Fucking XFL. He hate me.
Oh man. But yeah, I like looking at this, and as of now, Philly's up on Washington 14-10 in the second quarter of Monday Night Football. So I don't think Philadelphia will lose that, but you know, Washington's a pretty scrappy team, man. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where nobody's expecting us to win. Let's go for it. You know, let's
go out and get it.
Pull all of the tricks. Pull out all the stops. Last thing I want to talk about, some NBA stuff. I know you brought it up, and it is something that I've been talking about at work for a while. What is going on with the Warriors, my dude? At home, untouchable. On the road, unwinnable.
Yeah.
0 for 7, I believe, this season on the road. It's not Steph's fault. I'll tell you that right now. Steph is balling. I will say some of it falls on the Clay because he's not the same. And I get it. You have injuries like that, back-to-back seasons, it fucks with you. You're never going to be what you were before those injuries. The only person I've seen tear ligaments and stuff like that and come back and be better, Adrian Peterson. And I believe he sold some of his soul to Satan to make that happen. Because he tore all the ligaments in his knee, went away for 9 months, came back, almost broke the single season rushing yard.
Yep.
And won MVP and NBA or NFL comeback player of the year. And I'm just like, Jesus, what is happening here? Like, your knee was just in pieces 9 months ago, a full school year ago. You couldn't walk.
Yep.
Now you're
they put the Ayagamotto on his knee and was like, "Here, my guy, just reverse this."
So Miyagi just went in there and was like this. That fucking hand thing. What the fuck this shit does? It just rubs his fucking knee. Blew the fuck up. So I get it. Clay ain't the same. And the fucking puppy. But Jordan Poole has been streaky. He's always been kind of streaky, but with the money that you just extended this dude to, I'm gonna need a bit more consistency.
Yep.
And then you got your boy Draymond out there. uh, doing Draymond type stuff. You also got Andrew Wiggins, who you also extended, who you should be expecting to help out more. What do you can you help me try to understand why are they such a different team on the road than they are at home?
I don't know, man. It's just like the difference to me seems to be defensively. They're a lot more scrappier at home, and I feel like is I don't want to say it's because they think they can get away with more at home, but
Uh-huh.
they are a lot more of a scrappy defense at home than they are on the road. So,
Yeah.
and at home, you see that translate into points. On the road, you don't see as much of that. And they falter, like dropping to Sacramento. Like, come on. Now,
Yeah.
granted, Sacramento's a good team, but come on. Like, these games you win, you know? So,
Mhm.
I don't know. 7 straight, though, it speaks to me they are more comfortable at home than they are on the road.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, like, I'm looking at the games they win at home. They're not winning by a lot. Like their last
Right.
win at home, they beat Cleveland by 5.
But
Before that, they
Cleveland's
beat
good this
Sacramento
year.
by 3. Right. Then they beat Sacramento by 3. Um, trying to see like what big wins did they have? They beat the Heat by 13 in October. Then they beat the Kings by 5 earlier. Beat the Lakers by
Mm-hmm.
14. Yeah, they don't have like big wins at like you remember when they used to blow teams out? They'd
Blow
be
them
up by like
out.
fucking 30 half. They're not doing that, man. They're not doing that. And
And
then on the road, like
that could be
on the road, they are losing by it's not like they're getting blown out on the road, right? I mean, some
yeah,
games they lost to the Pistons by 14. You know what I'm saying? In Detroit, lost to Charlotte by 7, lost to the Suns by fucking 29. So that was an ass whooping. But like they like you're not seeing the Warriors defensively be great. You know, like
right,
offensively, they're still putting up plus like they haven't been under 100 all season. And I think that's
right.
like the new EBA. But defensively, I don't get it. Like I thought they were you had a defensive presence. You got Andrew Wiggins, quote unquote, one of the best two-way players out there. Klay Thompson, who's supposed to be one of the premier perimeter defenders. Motherfucker always in the running for defensive player of the year. I don't know why, but motherfuckers always say is Draymond Green. Um, I'm not understanding what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not they're only 2 games ahead of the Lakers. And the
right.
Lakers are
And that's saying
1
something.
game. Yeah. The Warriors are 13th in the West. The Warriors are 13th in the West. Just let that sink in. Granted, it's an early ass season. There's 82 games to be played. I get it. I understand. Motherfuckers can flip the switch, figure some shit out, right? Um, but fam, this is odd,
It's
man. I
it's
don't
tough.
understand it. And I'm looking at the top team, the Trailblazers, the Nuggets. I was expecting to be
Nuggets
up there. Suns, I was
and the
expecting the
Suns.
Jazz. The Jazz traded everybody, bro. They out there
And they're
playing
10
with
and
people
5.
from Eglin intramural basketball. You know what I'm saying?
The the 30 plus teams. You know what I mean? Like
Out there with Sarah Thurman and them, out there balling out and shit. The Pelicans out there at 7th, you know, the Thunder 10th in the last play-in spot for the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So
which is
this
surprising
is
because they
this
weren't
is
even on my radar.
right. The Timberwolves, after all the trades and shit they made, they're sitting at 12th. You know, Warriors
Game over the
13th, Lakers
Warriors.
14th with all the talk. Yeah, it's bananas to see the parity, just the whole fucking conference flipped on its head, minus 2 or 3 teams still in the mix at the top.
Right.
Um, But when you move to the East, it's kind of what you expected, right? Bucks, Celtics. Uh, the only well, there's a couple outliers. The Cavs and the Wizards. Granted, I was not expecting the Cavs to click this. I figured it would take some time for them to get in there. And shout out to your homeboy who mentioned, "Are we sleeping
Yeah,
on the
shout out to
Cavs?"
Ty, man.
I was, but I wasn't expecting the chemistry between uh, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland to be the backcourt that they are,
Right.
just cutting the fuck up
Then
over
you
there
got
in the
Kevin
East.
Love coming off the bench, rewinding time.
Well,
So
let me tell you,
it's
man, when
wild.
you get up there in age, and then somebody comes and tells you, "Hey, man, you ain't gonna be playing 35 minutes anymore. We just gonna have you play like 20 minutes." Thank fucking God, because I be
my knees. Thank you.
The love that everything is holy. Thank you. Ever since LeBron and Kyrie left, it's just been me, and they just been looking at me and score. I can't do it. Mental
My
health problems,
ligaments. Yeah.
bro.
Oh, my
Just
tendons,
let me know when I get on
ligaments.
the court. It's going to be against the other team's B roster, and I'm doing fine.
I'm doing work on them.
But yeah, then you're looking at the Hawks are up there 8-5,
Yep.
Sixers, 6, Pacers, Raptors, Knicks, and the Heat. Those are your 10 teams over there in the East. And I'm this seems more normal or status quo. Like if you were to tell me
Yeah.
these were the top 10s in the East, the only two, like I would say, the fucking Wizards are up there. Where the fuck is the Bulls? And and the Bulls are only a game back of 10th.
Yeah.
It's still pretty jumbled up, right? So all the way to 10th, you're only 4.5 games back of first place. So like I said, it's not like there's huge gaps because the season is young. But the one trend that we talked about, uh, the Warriors who bring back their core. I don't think they lost anybody, really.
No.
And for that's the part. Like you never see that. Like you bring back the majority of a championship team, you're not expecting results like this.
Right.
At all.
And this could be hangover. This could be the hangover. They won the title.
They've won so many championships and came back the next season. After their first title, and then they came back and won fucking 73 games.
Yeah.
Like they proved that they are hangover proof at that point because they've been to how many straight finals? You know what I'm saying?
True.
And they have never performed like this. I don't know if last year took so much out of them, if they had to battle harder. But man, I'm just like, I'm looking at last year's roster. I look at this year's roster. I'm like, y'all probably lost like your 10th man, your 11th man in your rotation left. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, what the fuck's happening here? Like, what really was subtracted from your team to where this is the results? Again, it's early. I don't know what's going on. A lot of people say the shit that happened in that practice, man, like maybe not everybody's okay with Draymond being on the team. Maybe I don't know if that ripple effect is that strong, where it's affecting them to this point, but that's the only thing I can think of. You brought everybody back. Everybody back.
But Steph is going to have to be the leader and make that happen if that's the case. Like, I love you, man. We won championships together, but I think it's time to go.
Steph ain't trying to get punched. God damn. He saw Jordan Poole's face. He was like, man, I make too much money off my face. They call me a baby face assassin. I can't be out here looking like that.
They ain't gonna have me out here with a black eye.
Andrew, go talk to Draymond. Tell him he got to go. I tell Jordan to do it, but he already tried that. Yeah. I mean, I really think he's out of here after this season. I don't know who's going to sign him, what kind of
When's the
contract he's going to
NBA
get.
trade deadline? When's that
You really
deadline?
think they'll trade him before?
Yeah.
Damn. That'd be wild. That'll be wild. I feel like Kyrie will probably be traded by the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And like I said, that'll start the whole rebuilding process again unless you get like a great haul for him. But I think a lot of NBA teams are like, no, we're just gonna keep offering these table scraps because at the end of the day, they don't want him, and they'll take whatever they can get to get him off the team. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's probably how they're gonna play it. That's how I would if I was a GM. Be like, bro, you can have this fucking second round pick from 2035. Like, what the fuck? Or you can just keep him on your team, making all that noise. It's up to you, bro. It's I can give you this and fucking 2 towel boys and our fucking equipment manager. He uses game.
He wipes the floor
He uses
really
game.
well after timeouts.
Uniform spelling fresh. Game fleet. What? Oh man. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into what I like to call buzzer beaters, which is last things we want to hint on before we wrap the show up. So what do you got for him, man?
All right, 281 was good. 282 looks to be great. Right now, there's discussion for John Jones to come back and fight. Don't know if that's going to be the case, but still in all, they look to end the year on a banger. So look for UFC 282 to be a good one. Rest in peace to Anthony Rumble Johnson, one of the hardest hitters in the history of the sport. For all accounts, he was a great human being. I really enjoy watching him fight. His passing was something that I didn't expect. So rest in peace and prayers and condolences to his family. Expect an announcement from DFPN on 2 new podcasts coming in 2023. So 2023 is already looking bright. And if you like battle rap, you're going to love one of the podcasts. So stay tuned. Keep it locked into DFPN. Thank you to all the listeners over the different brands. Prove Me Wrong is just one of the podcasts on the brand, but the numbers have been looking excellent for all the shows. So get this podcast, like it, subscribe it, rate it, share it to all your friends. Let's keep having fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's all I got.
Cool. Last thing I want to hit on is over the weekend, Floyd Mayweather was again in another exhibition match against a YouTuber, Deji. Of course, Floyd walks into these exhibitions not trying to do too much, just get in there, throw some punches and stuff. Deji was feeling himself a little too much, messed around and caught Floyd slipping, put a cut over his eye. Then Floyd came out of the corner and was like,
bitch, I told you not to.
You must have motherfucking forgot what we talked about before the fight. We was out here trying to put on a show. You was out here trying to fight. So let's fight. And then, which led to that fight being stopped after 6 rounds because Floyd ain't about you trying to make him look bad. For everybody who is looking at that fight, and I've been seeing all y'all comments all online, Floyd just won't fight a real boxer anymore. He's just trying to protect his record. Floyd has retired from boxing competitively. Yes. He has retired. He has told you that. Retired undefeated. He does these exhibition matches. They're exhibitions. That is why they're exhibitions. They're not sanctioned fights. They are just put on for show. 2, he is probably the smartest businessman in all of sports. I know LeBron is out there making billions. I know Jordan's out there making billions. I know there's people out there making money in sports, which is a beautiful thing. More power to them. None of them is smarter than Floyd at making money. Nobody is better at promoting themselves to the point of just making money for showing up to play fight. Millions, by the way, than Floyd Mayweather. Lastly, Floyd will still fuck you up if you play him wrong.
Also a fact.
That was the most bro. That reminded. What was that movie that Damon Wayans was? Or was it Damon Wayans? Who was it?
Yeah, the Great White Hype. Yeah.
Yes. And that dude was
trying
just
to
like,
make me look
my
stupid
overhand
on
right
TV.
puts people to sleep with a hit of it. And then he started boxing for real. Fucked his ass up. That is exactly what that reminded me of, man. I'm just, why would you do that? Like, you already got the bag. Like, the bag is secured because you guys are fighting. It's
you are in the ring.
The bag is secured. But no, now you pissed off the greatest boxer in history. Like, he doesn't still have it. You know, like, that'd be like you get in a ring with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's like, all right, I'm not gonna fuck you up. I could literally ruin your life, but I'm not. We'll just put on a show. And you fucking around and you just like, man, he really has his hands down.
I bet I can
maybe if I get him with a strong enough hook, I can sleep him. You know what? And then you do it and it doesn't work. And he's just like,
he smiles at you. Yeah, he smiles at you.
Right. So now safe mode is off, right? So when you hit him like that, in his mind, he's like, oh, beginner mode is off.
Kill switch, engage.
Yeah. Let me go put on my black shorts and I'll be right back. You know, like no. But
put on these black Air Force Ones real quick. I'm about to whoop your ass.
Like Floyd didn't leave boxing. Floyd didn't leave boxing because he couldn't do it no more. He left because he's a smart businessman. As long as I got this 50-0, I'm desirable. People want to see me lose now, and it's not gonna happen because I'm in these exhibition matches. So people just keep tuning in to see Bloodfuckers lose. Same thing the Paul brothers are doing. Well, Jake Paul is doing. Like, bro, as long as I keep getting these motherfucking bumps in here, everybody's gonna buy the fights to hope to see me lose. But it ain't happening. So my hat's off to Floyd. Keep getting your money, my guy. And if people keep testing you, please keep being quick to remind them that you are indeed still that dude. And it is what it is. But then again, to echo everything Black said, appreciate everybody supporting DFPN across the brand. A lot of shows. It's a lot of work. Black himself is doing like 3 shows a week. So we try to when we're not doing a show, we try to relax and stuff, but he is behind the scenes making these other shows a reality. So appreciate everything you're doing behind the scenes, man. And hopefully one day we can sit back and have other people produce and record and all this stuff for us, and we'll just be the talent and not
that's the goal.
And all that. But it's something we love doing, and we love doing it every week, man, especially talking about sports and the different things. So appreciate you guys chipping in, listening, supporting us, giving us those streams, giving us those listens wherever you're listening to the podcast or viewing them on YouTube and such. Bigger and brighter things are coming. So just stay tuned to the DFPN, Dat Feeling Podcast Network. Look in the description. You see all our sponsors, the Patreon, all of that stuff there. Feel free to sign up if you want. And that's all I got, man.
All right. That's it.
All right. Tune in next week. Obviously, college football will be a topic to talk about. We'll see if any shakeups happen. NFL, NBA, maybe the Warriors get it back on track. And maybe one of these episodes we'll bring Frankie D on. Let's talk some wrestling, man. Let's talk some wrestling on here.
Soon.
Okay.
Soon.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. So until next time, I'm the homie Makk, aka your boy, and that is my homie Bread Like a King, made his Kelvin Kately. Tune in next week, episode 7, or actually, this is 7. Episode 8.
Yeah,
next
episode
week.
8.
Prove me wrong. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Peace.
I know those eyes don't look.